This is the Verisimilitude Dude, and just wanted to do a video on why Phil Heath won, and basically a breakdown of the top three: Phil Heath, Mamdou Elsbaye, also known as Big Ramy, and of course William Bonac. So we'll start off with the front double bicep, and we can see here that Phil um, definitely has the edge on his legs. And although his gut is distended a little bit, and he does have what's called the bubble gut, made popular by Louis Marco, whereas his is not distended so much. Um, and what we can see here is that he's got striations in his biceps, whereas you don't quite see that here in Big Ramy's. Now, fullness and size, yes, Big Ramy's got it, definitely, as well as William Bonac. But again, you don't see those striations here or here like you do in here. So, and plus he's got kind of the Kai Green effect going on where it's kind of straight up, and also proportionately, William's got kind of a thicker waist, so it's going to be harder for him to place higher than third, just because of physical limitations, and also he has the handicap of being smaller, which does psychologically work against him when he's standing next to larger competitors like these two. Um, Now I have to give it to Big Ramy for the size. He's definitely got the size in his quads. However, some people might say that it's too big, and he has brought his calves up, and I'm sure they're huge, but compared to his thighs, they're still not up to par. His look pretty decent compared to his quads, and he's got the striations you can see in the 3D look like Phil Heath does. He's made some improvements too over last year, and he's definitely a contender. So let's move on to the next pose. All right, so this is the uh, front lat spread, and we can see right immediately how Big Ramy dominates in this category. Again, William Bonac doesn't quite have that flowing roundness to his lats like Big Ramy or Phil, but that's about it. I mean, the width he's definitely got. However, Phil, I don't know if it's how he poses, but he brings out his front delts more. See, he kind of lifts his chest up, and it detracts from the size or the illusion of size like Phil does. He knows the what angles to pose at to accentuate all of his muscularity. That's one thing that Big Ramy does need to work on, and I'll go over some of that later in some of the other poses too. He's got his on point, and proportionately to his body frame, his arms are freaking huge, and his delts are pretty good. Um, but again, he just is gonna always be handicapped. The little guy always seems to get handicapped when it's against larger opponents. So let's get to the next one, side chest. There we go. And we can see Big Ramy has definitely made some improvements, especially in the side muscularity of his thighs and his calves, um, and William as well. He's definitely got the 3D look here, and he definitely knows how to pose. And I'd say he's got it over Phil in this pose. He actually, I think he does better in this pose than Phil does. That's just my opinion. You could differ, but now Big Ramy could do better in terms of posing, and here's why. First of all, he sticks his elbow out from his body too far instead of pushing it more towards his body in and then pulling his elbow back. So if he pushed his arm in towards his body and then back, it would have more of a it would make his arm look big, like that. He's not doing that. He's pushing it out too far, I think. And he should also twist his body a little bit more towards the camera, like Phil and William do. But other than that, they're very, very close in that respect, all three of them. Um, let's get to the next one here. Okay. All right, now here's where people say that the Mr. Olympia's one is from the back. So let's do a detailed analysis. Now against Phil, he's definitely brought up his back from last year. He's got more of the 3D look, definitely got more separation in his muscle bellies, and everything else. He's doing a really good job. And his shoulders, see, his shoulders are freaking massive. Compare that to the size of his shoulders, and you can see, excuse me, you can see how even William does better, I think, in that term, in that sense. And he's really got the 3D look as well. Um, However, overall, I think Phil still dominates because he's got the striations. You can see the striations. You can see those two here, but here, I mean, you can just, it's like you can see every striation almost, as well as right in here compared to here and here. The 3D look right in here is just popping, you know, more than this. His hamstrings too, also the striations, and I know he had a hamstring injury, which hurt, but if he can work on that 3D look and get that muscle maturity, next year he could really be a force to be reckoned with. I think 2018, Phil is going to have his work cut out for him. It's going to be close. If Rami does work on his weak points, and he has definitely, obviously, since last year and the year before. Same with William. Um, you know, just come in a little bit better condition, have a little bit more muscle maturity. I think he could definitely put the screws to Phil and take that Mr. Olympia title. Um, Here we go. Yeah, you can just definitely see there's just more of a 3D look to his physique. And plus he's got the smaller waist too, which makes it give that illusion of just more aesthetically flowing than his. That's the one thing that Big Ramy has, is that thicker waist. He has to, which works against him. And now we can do a rear lat spread. There we go. It's a little bit off kilter, but there, I'm not sure. There we go. There we go. Is there a better picture? No. That's what we're going to have to do with that. Okay. Here in the rear lat spread, we can see the thickness of his middle back, his traps, and how they flow together. And it's just unbelievably thick. Compared to his, I mean, there's no comparison, you know? There's no comparison. And here, even when he does his lat spread, you can see all the different, you know, 3D effect, the separation is just there, where it's washed out here, you know? You can see the striations in his triceps. You can't really see that much here. You can see the veins, but you can't really see the striations. Here, you can see the striations, but again, he doesn't quite have the 3D effect that Phil Heath does. He's doing well though in the hamstring department, and the glutes, of course, he could work on that a little bit, the conditioning a little bit, and yeah, I mean, I think that Phil definitely deserved this win. So let's get to the most muscular. Let's see, hold on. Okay, side tricep. There we go. Okay. Now, again, he doesn't quite know how to pose. He needs to push his arm against his body like these guys do to get more of that to make it look bigger. It's an illusion, and he needs to do that. So Big Ramy, if you're watching this or anyone associated with him, tell him to push his dang arm against his body. It's already huge, but he can make it look even huger like these guys do. Look at that. I mean, it's like the same size as his torso, you know, because he knows how to pose. So Big Ramy, you need to learn how to pose a little bit better, bruh. But but yeah, I mean, that's about it for that. Let's see here. The most muscular, or no, I mean, what is that pose called? I can't remember. Not the most muscular, but oh, front abs. When you do the abs. Let's see. Compare these guys here. There's the most muscular there. Wow. Um, Here's looking pretty good compared to Phil. I mean, he's just got the size on him. You know, you can definitely see the striations in his chest and everything else. The veins are popping out. His thighs are just massive, like tree trunks. But again, his waist is so thick, it works against him. Now, one thing that maybe some people might not have noticed is that when he's facing the camera, he also twists his body a little bit. You notice that? He twists to give the illusion that it's a little bit even thinner than if you go straight on to the camera like he does. So maybe, Ramy, you could twist a little bit. You know, just work on that. Work with your posing a little bit. Okay. Abs. Come on, guys. Oh boy. Okay, here he is in dramatic lighting during his posing. I mean, you can tell the level that these guys are at, even relaxed, and they look massive, you know, and striated. So let's see. Okay. Come on. Hurry up. Ridiculous. Come on. So you can see basically the reasons why Phil won. He was just more of a complete package overall, I think. You can disagree with me and all that. Comment below, let me know. But I think that's about it for now. And I think 2018 is going to be definitely a interesting Mr. Olympia. Phil's got his work cut out for him because even Dexter was looking pretty good too. He just lacks the size compared to Phil. And but you know, Dexter's at his age is just amazing, you know. And I think we might have an upset next year. It's hard to say. If Big Ramy can just come in a little more conditioned, get more of that 3D look in his back, and work on his that muscle maturity, you know, he can take it. I think he can take it from Phil. I think so. Even William might be able to take it. I don't know, but they both need to get more of the 3D look. And one thing that I found to work is that time under tension, not necessarily the weight, but the time under tension also helps to build over time, if you have the patience, to build some really, you know, large muscle groups. So I found that to work for me. So that's the one thing that Phil does over these guys, I think, is he does more time under tension, which can mean slower reps or more volume, which he does. And we all know that Phil does high volume training, which can also benefit a lot. So these guys need to work on some of that, but just tweak a little you know, a few things here and there, and they've got it. You know, they can definitely have a chance. You know, but that's it for now, guys. Thanks, and I will talk to you guys later. All right.